Hey, Joel here, and welcome to episode number 27 of the Top 5 Scope. Joel Com here in the Hizzle, actually the Hizzle being Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm here for a mastermind slash birthday party slash networking event, and with me is my cohort and partner in crime, Felicia Slattery.
Hello, I'm excited to be here. We're having fun today.
This is so fun.
Yeah.
So Felicia is a pro when it comes to teaching people how to give presentations, how to give a speech that will nail it.
Every time.
Right? Every time. That's her book. She's actually got a number of books, and Felicia and I had the opportunity to do a project together in, what was it, summer?
Yeah, it was April, May, something like that.
What did we do?
We did something called Great Presentations, and it's a video training on the Q publishing platform. Is that what it's called? Q?
Yeah. Yep. Pearson/Q. And if you search how to give great presentations, Joel Com, Felicia Slattery, either, you'll be able to find that, and they sell the videos there, and we had a great time doing that. Keep the hearts coming, please, because that way we know that our connection is good and that you like what we're saying. So today's Top 5 Scope is going to be top 5 ways to start your presentation. So if you, by a show of hearts, how many of you give talks? Look at all the hearts.
A lot of hearts. They're flying. All the hearts. People giving presentations. Love it.
Yep. Great.
All right.
So these 5 ways to engage your audience from the get-go, from the moment you step on the stage, or even before, because sometimes we have the opportunity to start a speech that isn't with us speaking.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So let's get started. The number 1 way to start your presentation.
Quotation. You can start.
Can I quote you on that?
Absolutely, you can. So you can start with, and it's best if you don't start with something that you said, because that's another.
That's what she said.
Here we go. We're starting there. But you start with a famous quotation, or a quotation that some of you gentlemen start your speeches. I love that. Do it with something that people in your audience may have heard of, or do it with something that maybe they've never heard of before, that you give, whether you give it a different tweak if it's something they have heard before or not.
For example?
One of the ways that I like to start when I have a short speech is Franklin Delano Roosevelt once said, "Be sincere, be brief, and be seated." So, watch your watches, folks. Here we go. And then I jump in and like do my thing for a minute or two or whatever it is, and then I'm out.
So, quotation, great way. You're basically saying something that somebody else said to put people in the frame of mind that you want them to be. And then when you're leaning on the words of wisdom or inspiration or humor of somebody else, it's like you're borrowing their credibility to become your own. So number 1, do it with me. Quotations. What's number 2?
You just asked me a question.
I did.
And we just did a meta thing. You ask a question. But the question should be a real question. Don't make it like a ridiculous question.
How many of you are here today? By a show of hands, how many of you are breathing?
Right. Or like, I've seen people in marketing events say, "Who wants to make more money?" Like, really? That's a stupid question.
We all want to make more money.
Right. But
I don't want to make more money. I was told there would be dessert.
I heard there would be girls here. Are there girls here? Like, what? Right. So we don't want to, that is cheesy, Vicki, you're right. So you don't want to ask that. So you want to ask a legitimate question. One of the ways that I start one of my speeches about credibility is I actually don't start immediately with a question. I say, think about the last time you bought a product or a service from someone, whether it was face-to-face, in their store, or online. What was it about that person, that business, or that product that made you say yes?
Great question, because now it's putting people into the content, right? Because now they're actually thinking about why they're there, and they're personalizing. So the speech now becomes about them.
Right.
And as they're listening, they maybe will loop back around to that story and apply what they're about to learn to how that person made them feel. Right? Yes, Mike, it's about getting
Getting them
them thinking. So a numero deux is ask a question. Number 3 is state a fact or a statistic.
Yeah, so
Doesn't this remind you of old times?
it does.
Because this is kind of how we did our 6
I
hour.
know.
Only we had a green screen behind us,
right.
and professional camera gear,
Right, and-
not an iPad and an iPhone.
Right, like, hi. Yeah, so you want to state a fact or a statistic. I haven't said absolutely
More
once.
hearts.
More hearts. I haven't said absolutely
You will.
once. I won't.
Yes, you will.
No, I won't. So, stating a fact or statistic, what does that mean? Well, start with a dictionary definition, or start with a startling fact, or something that will make people go, "Ooh, wait, what's this going to be about?" Or I've never heard that before.
For example, I've started presentations about live video streaming before with statistics about YouTube, about how many millions of minutes are uploaded, every hour. Those types of statistics that blow people away are really great because people are, especially if the statistic is explosive. Randall says 65% of all stats are made up.
I heard it was 85.2, but whatever.
I thought it was Abraham Lincoln that said you can't believe everything you read on the internet.
I think that's
something
true.
like
That is true.
So state a fact or a stat, and boom, Vicky now wants to be on a Periscope, on a top 5 scope with me. Yes, Vicky, at Periscope Summit, you will be a guest.
Oh, fun.
For shows.
Cool.
Okay, number 4, I heard once upon a time that a great way to start a speech was with a story.
And that is true. You can start with Once Upon a Time if you want. Actually, somebody once dared me, right 5 minutes before I was ready to walk on stage. They said, I bet you can't start the speech with Once Upon a Time. I was like, oh, yes, I can.
And you did.
And I did. And it was fun. But you can start with, you don't have to start with Once Upon a Time. And here's the key to that. Don't say, I'm going to tell a story now. Just start with the story. And it's best if you can start in the middle of the story, or you can start with a setup. And the setup would be, it was a cold and blustery night.
We did not rehearse this at all.
Not even a little bit.
It wouldn't have gone as well if we had.
No, not even a little bit. So I have another colleague. She starts her speeches with a story, and she'll say, "Oh, I wish you could have been there." And that's a fantastic way to start. I wish you could have been there, because now they're putting themselves there.
Where is
What
there?
are you doing?
Why was I not there? Can I
Yes.
be there next time?
Yeah, and you don't want to tell an hour-long story. That's true. You want to keep it short. Your attention getters, this is what we're talking about for starting a speech. Attention getters are about 30 seconds to 2 to 4 minutes, depending on the length of your speech.
And there you go. So number 4, tell a story. And the 5th one is hire a stunt double. No. Oh.
No. Do a stunt.
Perform a stunt.
Yes.
Okay, so ride your motorcycle across Matchbox cars.
No,
not
not
that either.
not Evel Knievel style.
Okay, what are we talking about here then?
Okay, so doing a stunt would be, we've both done stunt kind of things before. Actually, the speech that I said that you were practically perfect in every way, the first time I saw you, there was some audio thing that was supposed to introduce you, and it didn't work. And so in your infinite wisdom of speaking, Joel said, all right, everybody in the room, I need you to slam on the table. Boom, boom, choo. Boom, boom, choo.
I remember
that?
In the
choo.
song, we will,
Yes.
we will.
And then you had everybody come up, so you got everybody in the room going. Listen, it's his show. I could say nice things about him.
Right. She can't handle the fact that I'm getting the attention.
I can handle it. So another thing, something that I've done before is in a speech where I was talking about Twitter, actually. And it was way back when business people were like, what's this Twitter thing? And how are you? Tweet. How are you doing this thing? And how are you making money in Twitter? And so I went to this business meeting, and what I did was I pulled a chair over, and they introduced me. Yay, Felicia Slattery. I pulled a chair over. I jumped up on the chair, and I yelled, hey, buy my stuff. Hey, you, buy my stuff. And I jumped down. I ran around the room. I flipped my business card at everybody in the room that I could get it to. And I was like, hey, how you doing? Great to see you. Oh, good time. Nice to meet you here. Oh, wow, you come here often? And I just ran around the room. And I got back to the front. And I was like, I was winded from that jumping and the running.
Yes.
And I was like, and I got this huge
The
round of
jumping,
applause. And
the
jumping and the running. Oh,
so
yeah.
much activity. I'm playing in the
I
calories.
was verklempt
Now
from that.
And even with bunions.
It was awful. So, but it actually was good because people were excited and they were like, wow, this is going to be really fun. And they were involved and they were interested. So some kind of an action activity, a stunt that gets people like, oh, we're in the mood. This is going to be really fun.
So Vicki wants to know your handle. It is at Felicia Slattery, Slattery. Just like that. So number 5 is do a stunt. And that is our top 5. Number 1, quotation.
Number 2, question.
Ask a question.
Or ask.
And remember, every time you ask somebody a question, you become an ask murderer.
He didn't.
Think about it.
He didn't.
I did. Number 3, state a fact or a statistic.
Number 4, once upon a time you want to tell a story.
And number 5, ride your Harley onto stage.
Do a stunt.
Be a stunt. Be a stunt.
I was making you be like, it's not a stunt double because that was good. Do it again.
Ow! Stop hitting me. Do it again. Wait, one more time.
Boom! I've just knocked Joel Kahn out of his own top 5.
Ow. Aye. So, there you go. We would love for you to come here and speak, Randall, if you find the opportunity to do so. Thanks for joining us on this edition, episode number 27 of the Top 5
Wait a minute, I'm
Scopes.
27?
Yeah.
Wow.
Top 5 ways to start a presentation. My guest, Felicia Slattery, at Felicia Slattery, and your website?
FeliciaSlattery.com, and pretty easy to find.
Derp. So that's it. We're going to go join some other people here at the conference for dinner. If you have a top 5 scope that you'd like to see, then tweet me at JoelCom and use hashtag top 5 scope. Follow, tell your friends, tell your parents, tell your dog, tell your local barber, tell all the peoples. And watch for more top 5 scopes coming your way when you least expect it. Thanks, Felicia.
Thanks, Joel.
Down Periscope.
Bye.
Felicia is what do you call yourself on a professional basis? You have a little...
Do I have a little hair
There.
out of place? No,
There.
Now I'm perfect.
Now you're perfect. Felicia Slattery, practically perfect in every way.